Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and another puzzle by Buttons today. We featured Buttons' Pink Haze a month or two ago, and today we've got 9 lines, and they're 9 lines with different colours. If you're colourblind, I will explain what the various colours are. The very fact that Buttons has used really thin lines, and there are a couple of sort of constraint rules in this puzzle, means that there's very little apparent information, but we'll explain those. This is purple, this is blue, this is red, this one's orange, this one's green, this one's yellow, this one's brown, this one's black, this one's pink. Now, I am not colorblind, and I can't see any of those. Maybe blue and purple being close, but the others are very distinct for me. I realize it might be a problem otherwise, but do just take that explanation I've given you. I mean, you could mark them based on that if you needed to, with the sort of P's for purple and B's for blue. Anyway, I'm going to take this on with my 2020 colour vision, and we'll have a go at that in a moment. I will explain all the rules, including those 2 constraint rules. First of all, don't forget that on Patreon we've got the marvellous Back to the Future hunt, Sudoku hunt for the month, and it's really good. It's by blobs. You can enter up to the 20th with a chance of winning a prize of doing a collaborative solve with Simon. And talking of Simon, also on Patreon, his marvellous solve of Listen by Eck from the Listener, an incredible cryptic crossword with a lot more to it. There is not just crosswording going on there. If you're interested in other types of puzzles, go to videos 6 and 7 particularly, well 5 as well, but it's really fascinating. Do have a look at those if you're with us on Patreon. Do join us on Patreon if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that would be nice. Or like some of the videos if you do enjoy watching us solving these variant Sudokus, which we so much enjoy bringing you. Now, there's other links under the video apart from Patreon. There's Sven's Sudoku Pad. There's also all of our apps, which certainly feature Line Sudoku and Chess Sudoku, relevant to today, as well as Fog of War and the Worms. So check those out. But the first link under this video is to this puzzle, 9 lines by Button, and you can play it in our software, especially again if you can read the colours. But I'm going to go through the rules now, and as I do the rules for each line, I will show you the line I'm talking about. So normal Sudoku rules apply, 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Now here's the first constraint rule. Identical digits cannot appear in cells that are a chess knight's move apart. So Knighty McKnightface has been dug out. He is on hand to remind me when I forget that 2 digits in those cells cannot be the same, or in those 2, because they're a knight's move apart. Now there's another constraint rule. In every 3 by 3 box, a digit cannot appear in its corresponding cell. So the digit 1 can't appear in the first cell of every 3 by 3 box. So 1 can't appear there. Basically, I'm going to explain what this rule means in its entirety for this puzzle. 1 can't appear there, 2 can't appear there, 3 can't appear there, 4 there, 5 there, 6 there, 7 there, 8 there, or 9 there. That is a strange and previously unused rule. Cells on a red line are prime numbers, so I believe they must come from 2, 3, 5, or 7. Cells on an orange line are composite numbers, so they must come from 4, 6, 8, and 9. Cells on a yellow line are greater than 5. Cells on a brown line are less than 5. Cells on a green line are odd. It's not a normal green line. Cells on a blue line are even. Cells on a pink line are square numbers, so I presume 1, 4, and 9 are available. Cells on a purple line are triangular numbers, so I assume that is 1, 3, and 6 that are the Sudoku triangular numbers. And cells on a black line are equivalent, so those 2 are the same as each other. It feels to me like that is very few rules, and maybe Knighty McKnightface will be doing a lot of the work. I have no idea how this is going to play out, but I'm going to try it now. Let's get cracking. So let's just go back to those first few. Red line, prime numbers. So these digits are 2, 3, 5 or 7. That one can't be 3 or 5, that one can't be 5. Cells on an orange line are composite numbers. 4, 6, 8 or 9 I think are the composite numbers. I can't rule any of those out. Cells on a yellow line are greater than 5, so we're selecting from 6, 7, 8 or 9 there. Cells on a brown line are less than 5, so 1, 2, 3 or 4 there. I mean, I'm sure pencil marking is a good move here. Cells on a green line are odd. Okay, well there's a lot of candidates in some positions. 1, 7, 9 there, 1, 5, 9 there, 1, 3, 5, 9 there, and all of the odd digits there. But I'm still marking them up. Cells on a blue line are even. 2, 4, 6, 8 are the candidates. That one can't be 2. And cells on a black line are equivalent. So that digit is the same as that and must be high but not 7. Oh, I missed the pink. Square numbers. And I've missed the purple as well. Sorry, I missed a paragraph. Pink line, square numbers. These are from 1, 4 or 9. And purple line, triangular numbers. 1, 3 and 6. So those, if you imagine snooker balls or something in a triangle, if you only had one row, you'd have 1 ball. If you had 2 rows, you'd have 3 balls. If you had 3 rows, you'd have 6 balls. Now, let's go back to that rule. This cell can't contain a 1. The kind of, I don't know what to call it, the position in the box rule. This one can't be a 2, that can't be a 3. This can't be 4, that can't be 5, that can't be 6. Oh, it didn't affect anything else. That can't be 7, that can't be 8. This can't be 9. It's remarkably unhelpful, if I'm honest. So, that was a pencil marking exercise that didn't do a vast amount for me. So let's see if the knight's move rule does. That 7 is looking at that digit and this one. The 5 there, no. The 2, no. The given digits aren't... Oh, 3 is looking at that digit by knight's move. But other than this, the given digits aren't really helping yet. So I think what we're going to have to do is some of this sort of considering where digits can go. So that 7, for instance, can't go in any of these cells. Well, also there. Okay, so where is 7 in column 3? It's either at the top or the bottom. And if 7 was there, that doesn't work. That's quite interesting. Because, oh no, hang on, I was going to say, yes, it's still genuine. Yeah, the simple question, I've been speculating about where 7 was on the yellow line, but it doesn't have to be on it, actually, because that isn't necessarily a quad of 6, 7, 8, 9. There could be a repeat. Then I was wondering about where 7 goes in box 9, if this is a 7. But the simple question is, if this is a 7, where does 7 go in row 7? And it's not allowed in those cells. Knight's move, remember. So that is not a 7, and the only place for 7 in this column now is at the top. And we've got a digit. Proud of that. Now, this can't be a 7. This one can be, because there's nothing about no repeats on a line. Right, so the next logical thing to do is to wonder about 7... No, 7 in this box is actually the next logical thing, because I think it's ruled out of all of those cells. That one sees all of these. So 7's in one of those 2 in box 2. Then it's in one of these 3. I'm not getting much further with that. Let's think about this column again. Okay, where's 2 in this column? It's in one of those cells. And they all see that one, including the knight's move. So that can't be a 2. It's quite interesting, but it didn't do a lot. So maybe where's 2 in the central box? Well, it can't be in those. I can't rule these out by knight's move, but they seem to be the only cells given the pencil marking we've done. Ah, this is tricky. This is tricky. These are interesting positions vis-a-vis the central box. So that is quite an interesting position because it sees all of these cells. Oh, but it could go again on the green line. Okay, is that interesting? That sees all of these cells. So whatever digit that is must appear in one of that. I don't think it is interesting. I'm trying to come up with something useful. If that was a quad of different digits of 6, 7, 8, 9, these ones couldn't use 6, 7, 8, 9, but that could be the same as that. I can't see a reason that it can't be. I think this is going to be quite an attritional puzzle. We're going to have to really work away at reducing possibilities. And remember this bizarre rule about the box can't appear in its own, the cell can't appear in its own, the digit is the word I'm looking for, can't appear in its own corresponding cell. I am going to colour those yellow, just so I remember there is a tiny little extra constraint on them. But it's mostly, I think, about the knight's move. That's what I think. I don't know, it's very hard to know what is useful in this puzzle when I'm seeing so little that is useful straight away. I'm very proud in hindsight of already having got a digit. I think it could take a long time before we get the next one. Okay, where's 5? Oh no, I'm sorry, I've misread that rule. I've misread that rule and I've misled you. In every 3x3 box, a digit cannot appear in its corresponding cell. Oh, that's totally different. Let's get rid of those yellows. All of these can't be 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I will put up a little sign to warn you at the beginning that I have made a mistake when I was going through the rules and to tell you what part of the video that mistake is revealed in. All of those can't be a 1. Oh, well, this is very different. So let's have a look at what we get. All of these can't be 2s, and that digit now can't be 2. Well, I mean, I don't know if this is going to do much for the pencil marks, but all of these can't be 3s. That includes this one. Interesting. All of these can't be 4s. I don't think any of these are trying to be 4s. All of the central cells can't be 5s. It's a much more powerful rule, isn't it, than I was claiming. These two can't be 6s. They're the only ones that matter. Bottom left corners can't be a 7, including that one and this one. Bottom middles can't be 8s. None of them are trying to be. Bottom right can't be 9. That includes this cell. So that equivalent digit is either 6 or 8. And okay, let's colour that. Where does that go in this box? Not in any of those cells. Or in this box, not in any of those. I don't know. I wish it was more helpful than that. I honestly do. Okay, that's a different rule though. So it's a bigger rule than I was working out. Now it very much is worth considering where 7 goes in this column, which I was trying to do earlier and getting nowhere, but suddenly things have changed. Because of where 7 is in box 2, that can't be 7. Then it can't be here by this rule about positions. It can't be here or here because of that. And this is the only place 7 can be in the column. Now, in this box, where can 7 be? Not in any of those cells. So the 7 in box 8 is definitely in one of these two. And it's definitely in one of these two in box... Oh, it can't be there. That's position 7. Ha ha! So this is a 7, and now there is definitely a repeat on the yellow line. Oh, goodness. Okay, this is going to take some staying on top of, isn't it? Now, that 7 sees this cell. This 7 sees all of those. So 7 in box 6 is in one of those. None of those are position 7. Okay, that wasn't quite... Oh, that 7 sees that place, and this becomes 7, and we've got another line with a repeat 7 on. Interesting. Okay, good. I don't think I can do much more with 7s. I've got one here, one here, one in those cells, but one in one of these 4, as far as I can see. No, not there, because that's position 7. So I'm going to pencil mark this one as well. But I don't think it's going to solve the 7s for me. And that was really interesting. Okay. The placing these 7s didn't affect this purple stuff and where they're trying to go. Oh, we've nearly got a quad here, haven't we? Seven, 1, 2, 4, 5. I don't know. What's gonna? Okay, where's 3 in this row? That's quite interesting because that 3 sees all of these cells. And we've got a lot of pencil marks. 3 is in one of those 2 positions, and if it was here, that would have a significant impact on the purple line, which would be 6, 1. Now, is there a problem with that? In fact, this would have to be 3. No, I don't think there's a problem. It's close. It's very interesting, but it's not fatal to the existence of 3 in this cell. 3 here would put 3 in one of those 2. Therefore, 3 in one of those 2. It's getting quite interesting because the 3, because of that, the 3 in box 9 would be somewhere down in the corner, and then 3 in row 8 somewhere over here. Interesting, but not actually giving us a deduction, I don't think. Yeah, this rule, this could do some really interesting things, but it's very hard to get a handle on it. I mean, I was just starting to think about 3 in the top row, because it can't go there by the rule. So it's almost forced into those cells, except that it can be here, although that would force this to be 2. And what would that do? Maybe it wouldn't do anything problematic. If that's not 2, one of these is 2. If this isn't 2 in box 1, one of these 2 is 2. And then these 2 can't be 2, so the 2 in box 4 must be down here, which would definitely create a 2 there. Now that'll see a lot of positions, and given that it can't be in position 2 in box 2, 2 must be in one of those positions. Oh, 2 in box 3 would be in one of those, given the constraints we have. Then 2 would be down here. I mean, there's powerful stuff going on here, but I don't know quite what it's achieving. I now see that this digit must be repeated on the green line, because, oh, hang on, it could go there. Not quite true. I thought it was going to have to be in one of those positions, but I'm slightly over-egging my pudding at this point. Okay, this is a tough puzzle. There's no doubt at all. I mean, I'm trying to remember the knight's move all the time, but there are so many ways in which which there's these little interactions between cells. This is tricky. I mean, there's no more rules. I basically fully pencil marked it to death at the beginning. As long as I make these two equivalent, there are no rules to take account of. There's just placing digits to do. If this was 4, 8, or 9, it would have to repeat in those cells. Now, let's look at this column again. 7, 5, 3. We haven't tried to put 6 anywhere. So 6 is going to be in one of those cells. They're position 9, so that's fine. Okay, that's interesting. If this was a 6, obviously this purple cell would be an 8. But also 6 in box 5 would have to be in one of those. Why do I know that? Because it can never be in position 6. So if this is a 6, then I'm wondering about 6 in box 2. No, it's not that helpful. Wow, I don't know. The other digit I was wondering about in this column was 8, but that seems to have 3 positions. None of them are position 8. It would be really good to prove that this couldn't be 6 or 8, which would form a 6-8 pair. That is a very unlikely thing to be able to prove, but let's just have a quick thought about it, because it would be so useful if I could prove it. No, I don't see the way of doing that. Okay, I've got to find, okay, if that was a 6, this would be 4, 8, and that would be 9. Then we'd have 1, 2, 3, and 5 to place in the row, and that would be 2. If that was a 4, 8 pair, that would have to be 2. Okay, let's start here. In fact, if this orange cell was a 2, that would be 3, that would be 6, that would be 1. This would be quite constraining. 2 in the box would have to be in one of those. Then we'd have 2 here and 2 here and 2 here. This is if orange was 2. We're getting quite a lot of 2 power moving around the grid. Has it run out now? Oh, 2 can never be in position 2, so that's not available. So now 2's in one of those 2, and then it's in one of those 2 because it can never be in position 2. And that means it can't be in those 2 because they see them both. And then we get all of these definite positions. So if 2 is in orange, we can place 2 everywhere in the puzzle, and it's never to avoid position 2's. And that's really interesting. But does it actually achieve anything for us? Why would it be a problem for 2's to be in those particular positions? None of them are a knight's move apart. It's not just automatically broken, no. Okay. Right, there are only 2 alternatives for 2 in row 2. One of them is here, and the other one is here. Let's see what happens if 2 is here. Because then 2 in box 3 is in one of those 2 positions, but in box 1 it's in one of those, so we know it's in the corner then. Then again it's down here, obviously got 2 there already. Now we have 2 in one of those 3 and there again. And then we have it in one of these 3. No, this hasn't quite done as much, but yet again 2 in that position forces this to be a 2. So let's try 2 here. What does that do? It's a bit less. Well, it creates a 468 triple on the blue line, but it also rules 2 out of those cells. So 2 would be in one of these in box 4. None of those are position 2. That's so confusing, that rule about the positions. It's probably doing something blindingly obvious for one particular digit. Okay, 5 can never be in the central cells. So the 5 in row 2 has to now be in one of those 2 positions. Oh, that 5 sees this by knight's move. Never even noticed that. Five has to be in one of those. I'm reluctant normally to pencil mark across boxes, but it's quite interesting here because that rules 5 out of here as well. It is in one of those 2 in row 2, so it's not there. Now, other places we know it's not in box 5 are there by knight's move. Obviously, some of the marked cells. Nah, it doesn't get anything done. What about 5 not being in the central cells here? It's not so useful. And yet, if either of those was a 5, 5 couldn't be in these positions. Oh, this is hard. What are we meant to find to get this done? That can't be a 1 by the rule. That can't be a 2. I mean, this is just... there's just nothing to really cling to. What's Button's been up to here? Are the 7s interesting? Should I have been able to finish off the 7s? That would be one set of positions for the 7s. I don't know. I don't think I've missed a trick on the 7s and missed an absolute slam dunk illegality. Four, maybe, then. Oh no, what was I considering? I was considering the positions for 2 in this row and 5, and it wasn't really helping enough. It is going to be some question of where a digit goes in another box, where a particular cell appears. Okay. I just noticed these can't both be 5s because there'd be no 5 in column 4. 5 can't be in those cells. In fact, if that was a 5, maybe that's just interesting on its own. So we've worked out that that couldn't be a 5. So if this was a 5, the 5 in box 5 would have to be there. We know the 5 in row 2 would be there. And now I've ruled out every possible 5 in row 1. So this digit is not a 5. I mean, that is complicated, but it happens. And now I've got a 149 triple. So one of those is a 4, and more importantly, this is not 1 or 4. This is a 2. And I say that as though that's now going to reveal to me where all the 2s goes. I have a feeling it's not. I have a feeling it's really not. But what does it do? 2 in row 5 is now in one of those 2 as a result of this. Oh, I mean, my goodness, this is so attritional. Oh, Mark, come on, just keep working, keep working. So, we've got 2 here and here. If 2 was there, that would be 2, which feels quite likely if I'm absolutely brutally honest. Now, that would leave 2 in box 2 to be in one of those positions. It can't be in position 2. Keep having to remind myself. Then that would be 2. 2 would be there in column 5, very specifically. In one of those 2, less specifically. So this does seem to be a possible array of 2s. And unfortunately in box 3, oh, I don't know, maybe it is more constrained than I'm realizing. But I think those 2 positions are still available. So 2 would be quite constrained if it went here. There would be 3 boxes with choice left. But if instead 2 in row 5 was here, what then? What then? Anything then. 2 in box 8 would be in one of those 2 positions. Oh, 2 in box 2, not allowed in position 2, is in one of those. And now 2 cannot be in this cell because they both see that cell, so it's in one of these 2. And then it's got to be here in box 6, box 4 that is, sorry. Okay. 2 in box 3 is now in one of those 2, so it's in one of these. Have we got no further? Okay, I'm going to mark all of these up as yellow, which are possible positions of 2 if the 2 in row 5 is in column 6, is here. And now I'm going to go through this rigmarole again. We get a 2 there. Now, in box 2, that is quite constraining. That gives us a 2 in one of these positions. That was it. That makes that a 2 and that a 2. And one of these 2 a 2. We've obviously got a 2 there. And then it was just difficult to mark it in box 3, wasn't it? Oh no, there were 2 positions left, there and there. Right, so I'm going to yellow these as well. And now all the yellow cells are the only places where 2 can go in the puzzle. Which, I mean, you wouldn't call this approach scientific. I do realise that. But still, I need something to cling on to. And 2 seems to, apart from 7, seems to be the number that I can mark up. And I have marked up 7. So then what? What after that? I mean, that 149, that feels like a real find. Do they all see somewhere? 4 had to be in one of those cells, didn't it? That means these can't be 4s. Position 4 can never be a 4 in this row as well. So that's ruled out, that's ruled out, that's ruled out. Right. The 4 in row 5 is now in one of those 2 cells. And they see both this cell and this cell, which cannot now contain 4. 4 can also never be in position 4 in this column. And it can't be there because we've got 4 marked. Oh my goodness, we're getting closer. The 4 in box 5 has to be in one of these 3 cells now. And they all see that cell and that cell, which cannot contain 4. It's almost like we've got something started, but it does feel like we're going to have to just stumble on something powerful to get anything done at this point. Well, I'm prepared to keep groping around in the dark, seeing if I can stumble on something useful. 4 in row 5. Let's just go back to that. It was definitely in one of these 2 positions. Now, if this was a 4, we'd know exactly where 4 was in box 1. And the 4 in box 5 would now be in one of those 2. We'd have a 4 in one of these 2, not on this brown line. And we'd have 4 in one of those 3. But I think I'm running out of any juice on 4s at that point. Did this 149 triple give me anything else? I mean, I've got all of these 3 cells are either 1 or 9. That's also quite interesting. But I don't know what it does, because I don't know if any of them have to be different from each other. Goodness gracious. Okay, 3 can never be in position 3 in this row. So 3 is ruled out of all of those cells. You see, that's quite interesting again. Now there are only 2 positions for 3 in row 4, and they are there and there. And they both see all of these cells, which can't contain a 3. So we can't put 3 in those cells. That 3 sees that one. The 3 in box 5 has to be in one of those 2 positions. And that feels like it ought to do something, but I don't think it does anything. 3 in box 5 is definitely in one of those 2 positions. So maybe we're narrowing down this box a bit. If that had to be a 1-9 pair, for instance. I don't know. It's so close to doing something. What if we haven't got any other digits, given digits? We've only got the 3 and the 5. And I've tried to use the 5 a bit. Maybe I haven't tried to use it enough. I think I've used it as much as I can. Yeah, let's keep going with the 3. Is there anything else I can actually keep going with the 3 with? It's in one of those cells in box 1. None of them are position 3. Oh, what about this column, which does have position 3s in? Right, it can't be there or there. We've worked that out, and that was because of where 3s were in row 5. So obviously it's not in any of these position 3s or other marked cells. So, can 3 be here? Or does it have to be in one of these 2? If 3 was here, what happens? Then there's a 3 in one of those 3 cells. I hate leaving it that open. Ah, the 3 in box 9 has to be down in that corner. Then we know the 3 in row 7, which has to be there. Then we know the 3 in column 2. Well, this is a bit more interesting. I can't remember what started this. This is if there's a 3... We're looking at column 6, aren't we, where there were 3 positions. That's how we started. We've got one of those two. They haven't got resolved. Oh, 3 is not allowed in position 3 in box 3. So 3 is in one of those cells there and not there. But also not there because we have it in row 9, column 9. And now the final 3. The 3 in box 6 would have to be in one of those, and that wouldn't be a 3. So these would be the possible positions for 3, including 2 options in boxes 5 and 6. And that's complicated, but it's possible. And that's if the 3 in column 6 is down here. If instead the 3 is in one of these 2 cells, well then what? Then 3 can't be in these 2 again. So 3 is in one of these 3 cells in box 2. It also can never be in those 2 or that one, which is position 3. So it's always in one of those in box 3. Now, if 3 is in one of these 2, have we got anything else going? We know 3 is in one of those 3. Haven't really got anything else going unless I'm missing something. If that was a 3, that would have to be the 3 in box 3. That would be the 3 in box 1. Then we'd have 3 in one of those 2 cells. We already know, that would fix, 3 being there would fix the 3 in column 4. Then we'd get a 3 here. And a 3 in one of those 2, and that would be a 3. And that would be so no, wouldn't be allowed. That's position 6, position 3 in box 6. Right, what I'm now saying is that I think we ruled out a 3 there. No, we didn't. We said that could be a 3, but it would end up with a 3 up here. Bother. Okay, but I'm ruling out a 3 here because that forces the 3. Yes, a 3 there prevents any 3 appearing in row 4 because it's not allowed in position 3. Oh, I see. Yes, I did rule out those 3 cells as containing 3 earlier. I forgot that. Right, so the 3 in box 2 is now in one of those positions, and that rules out this cell because they both see it. I mean, this is so complicated, or maybe it's just my method, but wow. Now we know there is a 3 in one of those 2 in box 3. And that means one of these 3 has to be a 3. And one of these 2 is a 3 in box 2. And one of these 2 in column 6. And again, if it was here, this would be the 3 in box 9. So that would be the 3 in box 3. That would be the 3 in box 2. Not necessarily that. One of those 2 in row 2. Wouldn't have decided on that one in box 5, but we would now again have this pair in box 6. I think I've definitely looked at this before. We'd get a 3 there, so we'd be using a 3 on that prime red line for sure. I mean, maybe I'm just not pencil marking things enough, which is a bizarre thought for me. But look, in this row, we've used the 1, 4, 9 triple. This cell sees 3 and 7, as well as 2. So I think it's 5, 6, or 8. And that digit then can't go in those cells. Is that of any real use? It can't be the same as purple. Maybe there's going to be some value in general colouring, but it feels very hard to get anything done. I'm actually going to remove the yellow colour because I used it to mark up 2's positions within boxes, and I mean, I can probably cope with just that. So, I need to find another of these numbers that's really difficult in a particular row or column. Probably by virtue of the rule about 4s or something. So 4 can't be there or there. So the 4 in column 7 is either there, there, or there. They're not all going to be looking at the same place, annoyingly. But something like that, or 6 in column 6, which can't be here or here. I mean, it still leaves that leaves far too much open, so that's not it. I'm just guessing here because I don't know how to go about this in any more methodical way. I'm afraid I just don't. Just looking at 4 in this row. Yeah, I mean, if 4 wasn't in one of those two cells, it's because that would be 4 in the box. And then 4 is going to have to be in one of these places. And 4 would have to be in one of those 3. And I don't know if that does anything. And somehow I'm not really using the rule, the rule about box position as it applies to 4s at the moment. So I suspect I'm not doing a sensible thing. Gosh, it's very hard to know what is a good thing to look at though, isn't it? I mean, you could look at 8s in column 8 or in this column. But I mean, I haven't really looked at 8s at all. I haven't got any markings for 8s anywhere. So it just doesn't feel like that's playing a role in the puzzle. I may not need many breakthroughs now. 1 or 2 would be enough to really get this flowing. But I'm a long way short of 1 or 2. And I do sense that. Now we did get 3 being in one of those two. So 3 is definitely in one of these. If 3 was on this purple line, then the 3 in column 2 would have to be down here. Now we know that's 3 and one of those is 3. The 3 in row 7 would have to be here. And that would make that a 3. So this digit can never be a 3. Just learned that because we started with what if 3 was in one of those. So let's go again. We've got all of these things going on. The 3 in row 7 is there, and that makes that a 3. So then we've got one of these two. And that rules out this cell, which is also position 3, so it should be ruled out. We've got one of those. This one sees, yes, in column 7 there is only one position, and it's here in row 3. That's slightly interesting. So maybe that's something I should generally be looking at, is 3 in column 7, which is now in one of those two spots. Now, what's that? What? The trouble is that's not ruling out interesting positions. It's ruling out that position, but that's already ruled out by being in position 3. It's not actually doing anything else for any other cell in the puzzle that I didn't know about before. And that is mighty frustrating. So at least I know that 3 has come into one of those cells. I'm going to mark that. Now, if it's there, we get 2 here, and therefore here, which is quite constrained, and that becomes 2, and that becomes 2, that becomes 2. I think we've worked this out before. This is a possible configuration of 2s. But it is constrained. I mean, this is what I did with 2s before. It's not as if this is dependent on 3s or anything. But does it impact what happens to 3s? Because this was based on that being a 3. I just don't know. I mean, I'm beginning to look at this brown line and wondering if 4 is on it, then 4 is in one of these positions, and those 2 will interact with these 2. But if 4 isn't on it, it's a 3-1 pair. And does that do anything? Because 3 and 1. 3 would then be in one of these cells, in box 8. And 1, if it was there, which it would have to be, couldn't be in any of these cells and would be in one of these corner cells. And I don't know if that quite does anything into box 5, for instance. I can't work it out entirely. Oh, here's a thought then. If this is 3, and that therefore is 3 in box 2, then 5 in row 2 is pushed to here. Now, maybe that has some impact. 5 being pushed to there in row 2. That's going to leave 5, no, very specifically there in box 2. And then in one of these 3 positions in box 5, which is less powerful. I know that that's less powerful. And I don't know where I'm going with this. Probably nowhere. Curses. No, it was just interesting that if that is one of 2 positions for 3 in the box, and if it is a 3, it does push the 5 that we've marked in these 2 boxes. But it doesn't push it somewhere that doesn't work. It does push it somewhere where it would force the 5 in box 2. God, I just don't see how anything has a constraint that affects the whole puzzle. Because nothing kind of ramifies down a line. All of these are just possible candidates within their lines. I just don't get it. I'm so sorry that I cannot provide you with a clean way through this. It's extremely hard for me to see what there is going on here. I never marked up 2 in this box because I've got the 2 in this box. That's pretty clear. These 2 being equivalent, they're the only 2 that affect their line. Like once you get one, the other is not just limited, it is complete. But what on earth does that do? I mean, I suppose if these were both 8s, neither of these could be an 8, and the same would be true for 6s for some well, I mean, it's definitely true. I just don't know what it does. Five is not allowed to be here. So 5 in the box has to be in one of those 3, but they're all kind of pushed away from everything. The knight's move can't really help. Can't tell me anything. Okay, if this was the 5 in row 8, where 5 is a little bit limited at least, then the 5 in column 2 would have to be there. It's not allowed in position 5. We have 5 here obviously already. 5 would be in one of those 3. 5 in box 5 has choices, annoyingly. 5 in column in box 9 doesn't have many. So 5 does get restricted elsewhere, but this is interesting. It's slightly interesting. 5 is definitely in one of those 2 positions in box 3 because it's not allowed in position 5. So I'm now using these 5 marks. Although I was using those 5 marks across the row, that is a pair in the box. They both see that cell, which cannot be 5. So now 5 is ruled out of quite a lot of cells here. And 5 has to be in one of these 2 in box 2. So now I'm using this pencil mark. Well, I mean, basically that, yeah, I don't need to consider that that goes across box anymore because they're the only 2 positions in box 2. They're the only ones in box 3. If it's there, it's there. If it's there, it's there. Okay, well, at least that is something I hadn't learned before. So 5 now can't be here or in these cells. Now, 5 by knight's move sees that. So one of these 3 is the 5 in box 5. And they all see this cell, which is ruled out in box 8. That cell is ruled out by being in position 5. And this cell is ruled out because of the pair that we got in box 2. So it's not very constraining in box 8, but it keeps it all out of those 3. And now in this row, where 5 can't be in position 5, it's either at the very beginning or at the very end. Right, those are the 2 positions for 5 in row 8. We worked out earlier that if 5 was there in column 2, that has to be 5. Now what do I know about this? This would force 5. If this was 5, that would force 5 in box 3, box 2. We've already got it in box 1. And that would leave nowhere for 5 in box 6. Good Lord. Look, that 5 would force a 5 there. And that's ruled out by knight's move. That's ruled out by knight's move. That's ruled out by position 5. So that is not 5. This is the only place for 5 in row 8 now. And now I can place 5 in box 2 there. Now I know that's not 5, but I don't know which one of these is 5. It is one of them, and the 5 in row 5 can't be in position 5, so it's in one of those 2. And now the 5 in this column, those 2 see all of these cells, which can't be 5, and it's not allowed to be in position 5, so it's got to be down here. And that's done something to 2. 2 is now forced into one of those 2 cells. Actually, first of all, let's get rid of the 5 pencil marks there and leave them there. The 2 is looking at that cell, which isn't 2, and this is 2. Oh, sorry, that one isn't 2. I was trying to take it out. That one is 2. This one isn't 2. Oh, that's not going to do anything. Oh, hang on. What about 2 in this row? We're now down to 2 positions for 2 in the row. That's disappointing. I wanted better than that. I'm greedy. I wanted more. Still, we did get something done there, and we've restricted 5s to these cells. They're either a pair on the diagonal there or there. I mean, goodness me, this isn't easy. Is this how Buttons envisaged this puzzle being solved, I wonder? Because it's mighty harsh. Or you could nearly say, where do those 2 cells go in box 8 now? And say it has to be there and there. But you can't quite. Oh, hang on. Do you remember what I said earlier? That if I said something about 4, didn't I? If one of those is a 4, that has to be 4. Right, I can now say that this digit is not 4 because there'd be nowhere for 4 to go in box 8. That's how that works now. It's not quite as much as, again, I'm being greedy, I wanted more, but there we go. If this was a 4, that's definitely a 4. Now, 4 is kept out of position 4. Is that of any use at this point? Not really. No, it isn't. Goodness me, this is tough. Right. If that was 5, 5 has 2 places in this box. If it was there, that sees this by knight's move. So those 2 would become the positions for 5 and that 2 by 2. And that would be 5 in box 3, and that would be 5. That's not really getting anything else done. No, one of these is 2. Oh, that's in this sort of trio of boxes with choices, isn't it? No, it's not. They're slightly different because that's a possible position for 2 in box 2. If that was a 2, that would be a 2. That would be a 2. That would... No, that would be a 2. I was just thinking it didn't work. That was very exciting, but I was just wrong. We'd obviously have a 2 there. No, there's some problem here. Right, where did that chain start? I think I started with that. If this is a 2, we get 2 there in box 2. Oh no, I was wrong because I didn't see this orange cell. Ow! Blast. Okay, let's do it anyway. If that was a 2, that would be 2 in box 2. Now this cell can't be 2, so 2 has to be there. That's going to give us these positions for 2s and that one, and therefore this. And that does seem to work as a set of positions for 2s, which is a pity. Yeah, I don't have any further abilities there. Okay, let's say this was a 9. Then we've got a 1-4 pair here. Now I know this can't be a 1-4 pair because they can't both go into this box. So, if that's a 9, this must be a 3. Then 9 is in one of these 2 positions in box 9. No, it can't be in position 9 in box 9. Pardon me. I think I'm going to have to get myself a drink of water to carry on after an hour. Sorry about this. Right, so let's try and carry on. I don't know what, I was thinking about this set, wasn't I? 4 is there somewhere, so if that's a 4, that's a 4. Oh, we earlier restricted 4 in row 5. Those rule out that, and then it's not allowed in position 4s. So 4 in row 5 is in one of these two. Has that got any more useful suddenly? I'm prepared to bet it hasn't, but let's just ponder it. Four there is actually quite interesting because it rules 4 out of all of those positions. So 4 there forces that to be a 4, which forces this cell to be a 4. And one of those two must be. And one of these 3. Now I am conscious that there's a sort of play between 4 in one of those and 4 in one of those, which requires one of these two to be a 4. You can't put 4 there and in either of these. So that would rule, I don't know, let's just keep thinking of what was I starting with? 4 here puts that as the 4 in box 1 and that as the 4 in column thingy, column 1. And one of those would be a 4 and one of these two. Oh, that's position 4, so that's not allowed. So now the 4 in column 4 would have to be in one of these two. That's quite interesting. Then we've got one of those 3 and one of those 2. That's what I was just talking about, but I didn't really reach a conclusion, and I'm not sure that I can. And I nearly can. If that was a 4 in that position I was talking about, that would have to be 4. That would then be 4 in row 6, which would force one of those to be, and there was something interesting here, that would force one of those to be 4 because 4 is not allowed in position 4. Oh, and that would be 4 in box 5, so that couldn't be. And in this position, that would be 4, and that would be 4. This is all about row 8, column 6 being a 4. You can't, oh, but, oh, 4's never allowed in position 4, so it would end up in those positions. It's not in position 4 anywhere there, no. Okay, so that is possible just, which is frustrating because it would have been lovely to say that this couldn't be 4. If this was 3, that's the only position for 3 in box 8, then that's 3. Oh, no. I was going to say that's position 3. It's not. That would make this 3. 3 would be in one of those two spots. That 3 would make that a 3. That would put 3 in the corner there. We've already got that one. Oh, we know it's in one of those two, and we haven't been able to resolve that. So it seems to work. None of these are position 3. No, some of them are position 9, and that's fine. Ah, it's so frustrating. It really is. It's so frustrating that I'm not better at understanding how to go about this. That is what is frustrating. I'm sorry, this is a very difficult puzzle. That can't be 6. I don't want to think about 6s. I've got almost nothing marked for 6s. Okay, let's try it with these. Let's say they were 6s, because actually that's not allowed to be a 6 because it's position 6. So one of those would be a 6. One of these would be a 6. I don't know if that does much in box 1. Oh, that would make one of these two a 6. I hadn't thought about that yet. This is not uninteresting now. In column 3, that would be a 6. And we'd have a 6 somewhere up here. 6 in one of those positions. No, hang on. That's not necessarily true. I don't know why those would have been ruled out. So, not sure. This is definitely worth pursuing a bit because I haven't got this far before with 6s in my head. But I think I am running out of ideas at that point. Yeah, that doesn't quite finish anything off as an idea. It's so weird. The interactions between the positions of these lines and the numbers that might be on them are very strange. Okay, but the alternative for this purple cell was 8. I just don't think I can restrict 8s much. I suppose whatever purple is has to now be in one of these two. I hadn't seen that. It's worth noting. And then purple has to be in one of these 3. And if purple was an 8, it's not allowed to be there. So if purple's an 8, these are the positions for purple. And, oh, whatever purple is, it's in one of these 3. Good grief. So that's not purple, and this is definitely purple. And I've not seen that before. So that's not purple on the knight's move. And up here, one of these 3 is purple because that's purple, and none of these can be purple. So purple is in one of those. Oh, I can rule purple out of here because of its positions there. So the only possible purple spot in column 3 is here. There is purple. Oh, I mean, it's not, if only it would pop up in position 6 or 8 somewhere, I'd actually have something done. That's not purple. These 3 all see that cell, so that's not purple either. That's quite interesting. That's not purple. Purple in box 1. Well, it's a 6 or an 8, so I can rule out that one. Feels like it is in one of those 4. And that's not very constrained, I do know that. Purple over here is in one of those 3. So it's not there because they all see that. So I think purple in box 3 is in one of those positions, and that's not very constrained. But it is still interesting that we got it to be here. Let's have a look at this column again. 2, 3, 5, 7. The prime digits are all placed. It's a complete irrelevance that they're prime, but anyway, they are all placed. The others are 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. This is not allowed to be 9. I've never noticed this before either. I mean, that's not uninteresting. This is 1, 4, 6, or 8. The 9 in the column is in one of those 2 cells, which does sort of mean that there are a bunch of cells that cannot be 9 because they see them both. All of those cells can't be 9. I mean, it's not anything that I think is going to inform how to do the puzzle. But it's still true. Oh, 9 in box 7 is definitely in one of those cells. I hadn't seen that before because of this 149 triple. 9's in one of those. Okay. Okay, come on, do something for me, 9s. I mean, it's intriguing, and it just won't give anything up. 9, 7, 2. What about this? Can that be 9? No, this can't be 9 because that 149 triple all sees it. That's why. So this is a 6-8 pair and that digit is a 4. And I've got a digit I've never had before and that I haven't put in the puzzle at all. 4 there stops that being 4. Now, 4 in this row is either there or there in a position. Oh, it's not there because all those 4 positions see that. So this is 4 in row 2. Well, this is 4 in row 3 because those 2 are on the knight's move from those 2. Well, something just happened there. This now is not 4 because of the knight's move. 4's in one of those. This is not 4. This is not 4. That's much more important. This is now 3. And that was going to do something, wasn't it? Or the 1 makes that a 9. I mean, maybe none of these were going to do something. That 1 sees these cells. So the 1 in box 8 is in one of those 2. The 6-8 pair, those 2 are the other digit from 6 or 8. Let's make it orange. Let's get rid of orange up there. This one I don't know, but can I do anything with orange in this box, say? That orange sees all of those digits, and that one sees that one. That's frustrating. Orange is either there or there in box 8. I mean, it's quite interesting in that if orange was a 6, we would know it wasn't allowed there. That cell sees these ones. If that was orange, it would be an 8, and it would have to be there in box 5. So then it would have to be here. Okay, if orange was 8, no. Yes, if orange was 8, this is what would have to happen to it. Now, come on. If orange was 8, it would be in one of these 2. It would have to be there though, so we'd know where it was. One of those 2. Come on, orange, do something. One of those 2. That is annoying because 8 was the more constrained digit. So irritating. Right, what else did we get? We got a 3, so that's a 2. That's huge. Why don't you just look at these things? That's going to fix all the 2's, isn't it? That's not a 2. That's not a 2. That is a 2, and it's not purple. Right, keep going with 2's. That 2 is looking across. Well, this becomes an 8, and that becomes a 6. And that 8 cannot be purple anymore, because it sees all of those. So purple is a 6. And now orange is an 8, which wasn't the conclusion I wanted, but never mind. Never mind. Now, 8 can't be there on the knight's move. 8 is there. Let's keep going with orange just to excite myself. Those are on the Knight's Move, so that's 8, and that's apparently going to fix 4 in this box, according to the pencil marking I did. Good. And that gives me 4 in column 5. Let's keep going with 8s. I don't know. I've choice of things I could actually do in the puzzle. 8s or 4s. That choice is madness. Right. 8 is there in box 7. That has to be 8. That's 8 in box 1. That's not an 8. I don't know. One of those 2 cells is an 8 in box 2. Oh, well, this isn't 8 anymore. Goodbye, orange. Goodbye, number 8. 8 is here. And that fixes it in box 2. There's 8. I was going to say, surely I can put it in box 5. I've actually already put it in box 5. I just hadn't oranged it. Right. Orange, bye-bye. You're done. Purple 6. Not there. So 6 is in one of those cells. Not there. So 6 is in one of those cells. We know it's in one of these 2. How is this not? Oh, 6 in box 1. Hang on. Can this be a 6? Because I haven't marked it in corners in box 1. Right, I think one of those 2 is 6 in box 1, but these 2 are not because of that 6. So we can just write in 9, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight. Sorting out my 3s, maybe. I get 1 there. Then I know there's a 3, oops, in one of those cells. So this has to be 3 at the bottom. That has to be 5. I'm left with a 1-9 pair. That's in the box, and that also gives me a 1-9 pair in the column, which leaves me with 3 and 2, and I know the order of those. And this is 1, 5, or 9, but it sees 5 and 9, and I'm going to finish the box. Then I'm going to finish this box. And now it does all sort of reach a tipping point, doesn't it? This is a 7. I could have done that a while ago. This is 7 in box 4, and that's not... Oh my goodness, the relief, the flooding relief. 4, 6, and 7 in this row. No, I don't know. That's 1 or 6. That's a little pair. This is 9 and 4. We do know the order of those. This is another 3. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, proving its position. We've got a 1, 5, and 6 to put in row thingy. This digit is 5 or 6 because 1s are looking at it. I mean, this is straightforward now, surely. I hope I don't have to remember the box position rule anymore. That was just Sudoku. This one is a no naked single, I think. Yeah, that's a 1. That's 2 in the corner. Oh yes, I was going to finish off 2s. Probably done it now. There's all my 9 2s. Good. Now this pair is 6 and 9, but there's a Knight's Move. That's just what we want to finish off 6s, I think. That's the 6. And we've got all the 6s, so we can get rid of all the purple, surely. Let's do that. Okay, that digit's a 5. This is a 1 to complete the row. That's a 7. That's a 7. That's 4, that's 1, that's 4. This is 1 and 4 here, yes. 3 and 9. Are they done on the Knight's Move? Yes, they are. 3 and 9 like that. This seems to be a 3 and 9 again. And this is a 1 and 5. And that is the solution to 9 lines. My goodness, that is a tough, tough puzzle, Buttons. 80 minutes. I suppose there was a 2-minute break, but still nearly 80 minutes. Absolutely heart-rending stuff. Wow, I'm thrilled to have got through that. Another tough puzzle here on Cracking the Cryptic. Well done. If you did that much quicker, and I'd love to know if there was a method that I just wasn't using. Brilliant stuff. Thank you to Nighty McNightface and Emily who supplied it to me. And I'll see you soon on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.